You are making yourself worse. You are becoming addicted to your phone.
No content is actually being provided. Constantly have a dopamine rush. They like to have things that are constantly hitting them.
Because you're not okay. You're hurting yourself every single day. Podcast number 12. We are here. We have a setup. We have a team. It's going to be awesome.
We got coffee too.
We got coffee and a Celsius. My heart is going to be beating very, very fast. But that's what we do. That's what we do here.
Overloaded on caffeine right now. Just like our topic. Our topic is very overloaded. Streamers. Streamers,
what are they good for? What are they doing? And how's it going to affect our lives?
And more particularly, what separates the new streamers from the old streamers? Because I think that you and I can both agree that there's two different schools of thought between new streamers, the new school streamers like iShowSpeed, Neon, Aiden Ross, all the people like that, and the old school streamers, people like Dr. Disrespect, Ninja even.
Yeah.
Someone else.
Someone else. Yeah, it's interesting. So I'm not someone who's watched a lot of like YouTubers growing up. I'm not someone who's watched a lot of streamers. But being on social media now with the podcasts, posting stuff, and being on TikTok, trying to figure out the algorithm, figure out what's popular now, what's being pushed down my throat is these IRL streams. It's painful to watch. I know that it's entertaining because it's real. You can put yourself in their position. You can see what they're going through and how everything's functioning. It looks fake, but it's real. And I don't think they understand the repercussions of what they're actually doing. There's no respect for humanity. There's no respect for another person. And these streams are going to fuel that even more. And it's scary.
Well, it's all about content and what content is. Because content back in the day, YouTube was made for kind of like short form content where you would film a video, playing a game, doing a commentary, reacting to something that was generally like 10 to 20 minutes long. A stream was something like you would go and watch someone for hours. It could be like 2 to 3 hours where you're just watching someone play a game, or a podcast. It could have been like a live podcast or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I think what's happened over time, this is sort of what the internet does to things. The internet speeds stuff up. And so over time, the content format for streaming has changed. It's gotten faster. So people they love to, constantly have a dopamine rush. They like to have things that are constantly hitting them. And so streamers have adapted to basically provide that sort of content where you're always getting something at every single moment of the stream, right?
Yeah.
Creating like clip-worthy content.
Yeah, and it's escalating more and more and more. You mentioned in the last podcast how as humans, we always take everything to the extreme. If you can do it one way, you have to do it another way. If you're just going to continue going one trajectory, let's just continue to exploit that point. And that is perfectly shown with the rise of iShowSpeed. Started with playing, 2K? Like every freaking streamer just plays 2K, and he's just slow following, having fun, playing a little bit after school. But then he started to have his freak out. The more he freaked out, the more people watched. Then people realize, okay, he freaks out. Let's put comments in there to make him freak out, saying that he doesn't shower and all those other things. And then he freaks out more. He'll record a video in front of the shower. Like, oh, you guys, I shower. Like, come on, that's a stupid thing. Everyone knows people shower. It keeps going farther. Then he starts to get big. Then he's doing streams. They say, all right, I'm about to hit 200,000. His streamers will see he's getting close. Then they'll all start unsubscribing just to watch him freak out. And when he's by himself, it's fine. Because it's just him playing a character, being funny. He is getting issues when he's getting with like Aiden Ross and going on these other streams, like the Discord dating, the internet dating things.
Yep. And
he's talking about, there's a clip where he's talking about, it's the last two people on Earth. Would you like make more kids? And this girl's like, no, because then our sons or our daughters might have to like marry each other, like incest, whatever. And then he's like, who's gonna stop me? Who's gonna stop me? And he was got in his character and forgot where he was.
Yeah. Well, it's not about the content. It's not about like the actual thing, the content value, the idea of what they're trying to provide. The only thing that they're trying to do now is create clip-worthy content, because you have a moment. This is something that new social media has really provided a platform for, is very, very clip-worthy content where someone does something so outrageous that you can clip it for 20 seconds and then that goes viral. And that's what iShowSpeed really did, is like he created content where he would freak out for 20 seconds. That becomes a big clip. That becomes viral. It draws in a new audience. But he's a streamer. And, you're trying to figure out what the hell is he doing for the other 2 hours that he's streaming, right?
Yeah.
And what that has essentially turned into is just a complete degradation of a human being where he just freaks out for like 2 to 3 hours. And that's good enough to draw people in. But it's not real content compared to like someone who plays a game or something like that. They're talking to their audience, they're just chilling, they're having a good time, they're vibing, right? And, as that goes on, you and I have both seen this. I think everyone has seen this, frankly. People are trying to create just clips. They're trying to create content that just turns into clips, which is, that's a very fair growth strategy, right?
Yeah, I mean it's entertaining. People go on just for those moments. If you go into iShowSpeed's like or the actual recordings of his stream, people will go in and timestamp every time he freaks out. So people just watch him scream and freak out. They won't even watch the context. They just want to see him scream. And it's funny. We've all seen those clips where he's screaming, rips his shirt off, all that other stuff. It's a quick dopamine rush. That's all it is. People just want dopamine. And as like streaming and everything's kind of evolved, you go like FouseyTube. Remember FouseyTube back in the day? He was really big when like internet pranks kind of started. He was one of those people that just pushed everything. It's one like that Mortal Kombat in the elevator was huge, right?
Mm-hmm.
He kept pushing farther and farther and farther. And eventually you come to a point where you just can't do it. You lose yourself. And that's what happened to him. He just stopped. He would take a 7-month break, come back, try to do the same thing, take a year break.
Yeah.
Like he was at the top.
I mean, it's you're trying to be as provocative as possible.
Yeah. And there's limits.
Are there limits? Because that's the thing that is really being questioned right now, is like, what is the limit to the type of content that you can provide to the internet? Because back in the day, it was just someone getting angry at a video game, and that was clip worthy, right? Someone just absolutely freaking out. Like, one of the best clips on the internet is the "Let's Go Leroy Jenkins" clip, if you know what I'm talking about. We got to put that in the podcast. Yeah. Just the Leroy Jenkins, where this guy is playing World of Warcraft. It's like 2005. He goes into a room screaming, "Leroy Jenkins," right?
Yeah,
like that whole thing.
I'll play it right here so you can hear it.
Yeah. But those moments were pure because they were far and few between, right? Like you would get that and then you'd wait for the next big moment to come. Where nowadays you have streamers and YouTubers really pushing the limits on what creates a viral moment. And so with people like iShowSpeed or Neon and Aiden Ross, they provide clip-worthy content by bringing in really provocative people to their podcast, right? Well, and it's disgusting.
Yeah, well, so when you talk about even just saying words, so before we talk about bringing people in, because that's a whole subject we're going to dive into in this podcast, but just saying things that are provocative. Nobody does it better than Neon, because he has that persona that's like the nerd, kind of nice guy, don't want to talk to you, but then he says these crazy things that you just don't say.
Yeah.
And he's able to do it with every single person that comes on his stream.
Do you know how he got big?
I'm trying to remember. I watched a little bit.
Yeah, he was on an Aiden Ross stream way back in the day. He was friends with Aiden Ross, and he was in the same Discord server with him or something like that. And Aiden Ross had Andrew Tate in his podcast, and he brought Neon on. That's funny. But he brought Neon into the podcast, or not the podcast, the Discord channel.
Get it together,
talking. Sorry, it's a big story. I'm nervous. But Neon just basically calls out Andrew Tate in the thing. Yep. And he's got no backing to call out Andrew Tate. I mean, if you've seen Neon, he's like really small, very skinny, has no muscles, nothing going for him really. Like in the way that he's trying to call out Andrew Tate, because he essentially called Andrew Tate a beta male.
Yeah, and Andrew Tate's like the top G. And that's the same. That's the same. That's the same clip I'm thinking of, is when he was talking mad crap to Andrew Tate, and then had to take a puff of his inhaler, and Andrew like breathe air, like relax, little bro. It's like you can breathe. And it's like he just completely killed him. But what Neon continued to do, though, he talked mad crap about Andrew Tate. Then a couple weeks later, got jumped right?
Mm-hmm.
And then posted that video. And then Andrew Tate said, "Hey, this I feel bad for you. If you want to help you." Then he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna change my life around. I'm gonna go and help you." Or he's gonna go accept his help, go with Andrew Tate, shaves his head. Then nothing comes from that because he's doing it for clicks. And it just came out in a stream he did maybe a couple weeks ago. They were on a lie detector, and Sneeko asked him, "Hey, did you fake this?" And he said yes,
Yeah.
and it was true. It was a complete fake thing just for more clicks.
Yeah.
Why would
Exactly.
why would you post yourself getting jumped?
They also he did another type of clip where he went to the gym with Bradley Martin, and Bradley Martin gave him a 45-pound crowbar, like just the general.
The barbell.
Yeah, exactly. Just to see if he could lift it, and he couldn't lift it on stream. Right? He was failing to basically lift this whole thing, and like you just know that that's BS. Like you can't not be able to bench 45 pounds. It's literally not even humanly possible for that age.
His whole life that he's creating for himself, and a lot of other streamers, is just making fun of them.
Yeah.
Like I hope that they, if they don't know it now, they'll understand that that's the only reason why they're famous. It's because they're putting themselves on the internet to be made fun of.
Yes.
And doing things on purpose just for people to go, that guy's an idiot. Wow, what else can we make him do?
Exactly.
It's a little puppet that's continue to do it, and it's getting worse and worse and worse.
It's a format that people have figured out is that you just do something that's completely stupid. You create a persona for yourself on the internet, and people will literally feed your content to themselves. They'll put yourself into the algorithm just by commenting, saying like, "This guy's so scrawny, he's so stupid." Do you remember the Island Boys?
Yeah.
These guys blew up overnight simply because they looked so stupid and they acted so stupid. Or do you remember the Da Vinci twins guys, the Boros twins? Da Vinci? Yeah. Exactly. Like, you know that these guys are BSing, but they create an entire platform for themselves just by making themselves look stupid. It's like I don't know what it is. It's willing to make yourself look so stupid on the internet, allowing people to just rip the crap out of you. Just lay into you, saying you're stupid, humiliating yourself on the internet for views.
Yeah. Well, look back.
It's fake content.
Yeah, back in the day, right? You have the kings, you have the jester, you had the person that just made fun of themselves. Like, that's not something that's new. But with the internet, we're seeing this over and over again. And the internet lasts forever. Your clip that you make now will be on the internet forever in some kind of form.
Yeah.
And your character and who you are will always be tainted from that. Mm-hmm. So these guys are 19, 20 years old. They're really, really young. And yeah, they might be having fun now. They're making a lot of money. But later in life, when they look back,
oh, you've got nothing to look back on.
It's horrible. You'll never be able to do anything else because what you did when you were young.
Your legacy is that you were stupid on the internet.
Yeah.
It's not real content. The thing that's really surprising to me about it all is that there's a demand for it. And there's a very high demand for it, right? The internet demands virality. The internet demands short form attention. And these guys have figured out how to give it to you. The issue that I think I really have with it is like, what does it actually provide for us? And does it make us stupider, right?
Yes, it makes us stupider, and
it
provides
us so much stupider.
Just dopamine.
Yes.
And we are so lost as a society that all we want is quick dopamine. Everyone, like relationship problems, or for people, oh, my husband's on his phone too much, my wife's on her phone too much, because we just constantly need dopamine. We can't disconnect. And when you see these high dopamine clips, you can't stop watching them. And then you get invested. You're like, oh, okay, this is cool. Wait, maybe he'll see my comment. I'm gonna say, hey, dude, you look like whatever. And it's like, oh, he saw it, he react to it. You're hooked. You're hooked for life because you got dopamine from that. Because with streamers, if they're these famous people, you get to interact with like someone like a big sports guy. Like whenever when you were young, and you like saw like a sports person at a restaurant, like, oh my gosh, like that's Barry Bonds, whatever, and it's huge. You can interact with these people online, and you get it back. You get something back from your home.
It's kind of like a new niche. It's like the niche of provocativeness. Like, who can be the most provocative internet personality? That's what it's like ultimately about. And the thing that I'm really scared about the most is that the people that really watch Neon, the people that really watch Aiden Ross, the people that really watch Sneeko, any one of these guys, they're kids.
Yeah.
Like, you're 25 years old, you don't watch this type of content because you want something a little bit better. But the problem is, like, when you and I were growing up, this wasn't the type of content that was on the internet. Anyone who's our age, this is not the content that we would have watched because no one provided this sort of content, right? We never got ourselves hooked on it.
There wasn't a demand for it yet. Because it didn't happen, so we didn't want it because it just didn't exist.
Yeah.
And people always talk about, like, the older generation, how horrible GTA is, how video games are wrecking people's minds, desensitizing ourselves to real life. These streamers are doing worse than what
Yes.
GTA is doing because they're seeing real people do real things
stuff and seeing them getting rewarded for it.
monetarily, 100%, and then they go, "Oh wait, I can do this too." In, I believe it was Florida or Texas. There's these two kids in a car. It's gonna be a little morbid, but this is a reality of the world we live in. They were driving in the car recording on a Snapchat. They're, "Oh, this is funny." They see a dude riding his bike, a retired guy riding his bike, and like, "Dude, I'm gonna hit him." They hit this guy, ran over, killed him, left. And the dude in court said to his buddy, he goes, "Dude, I'm going to be out of here in 30 minutes. Now they're in jail for life." They didn't realize that it was a real life that they were affecting.
Yeah.
And their minds are so tainted that they're like, "This is fine."
Mm-hmm.
It is what it'll be funny. I'm doing it for the video. They recorded the whole thing and laughed about it.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing that you really do see on YouTube all the time now is people like that, younger people that are trying to create some sort of YouTube career by just doing the stupidest things that they possibly can. Aiden Ross did something that I thought was so atrocious, where on one of his streams, he was getting viewers, like he was letting viewers go live with him on like Discord or something like that. And he would just tell them to do something completely outrageous. And I'm not going to say any of the stuff that he did because they are actually very graphic and very terrible. But, they involved like just really disgusting things that people would do to their family. Some guy, he paid this guy $20,000 to go into his sister's room and pour a bucket of liquid onto his sister and then smash her TV. And he did it live.
Yeah.
Just completely live. And he paid that guy. That guy went out. I think that guy's even making clips now doing similar content where he just does really stupid challenges. And that's the thing is, like, people see this type of content. Kids see this content and they want to recreate it because they can see, like, it's very low effort. It actually, people think about it, like, it's not that hard to be stupid. It's actually very easy. Once you accept the fact that you want to be stupid and you're willing to deal with the repercussions, one, people don't know what the repercussions are, but when you're willing to just accept that there will be repercussions, you'd be willing to do anything on the internet.
If there's one thing I've learned about life, there's always ramifications. Okay? You need to be mindful of ramifications always. And these kids don't think about the ramifications. And they'll do these outrageous things, and it's funny to them. And you mentioned it's not creative what they're doing, and they say, "Oh, it's stupid." They don't realize that they think it's funny. Like, remember the trend devious licks?
Yeah. Like,
schools were getting just vandalized constantly, and it was funny.
Mm-hmm.
People thought it was funny. Everyone kept doing it. I don't know when a reality check's gonna come in for society, young society. But something's going to have to happen. Something's going to break.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, like, you don't see the repercussions. You don't see the ramifications because all you see is the surface of Neon. You see the surface of Aiden Ross. You see the surface of IShowSpeed, right? These guys are making money. They are making gobwads of money and cash. And that's all people see is just the lifestyle that these guys have brought themselves by being stupid on the internet, right? Like, if you're comparing two people, like, let's say PewDiePie, for example, right? Yeah. Just a general content creator, one of the oldest content creators, one of the biggest, and you compare him to IShowSpeed. Which one creates easier content? IShowSpeed by far, because you understand PewDiePie makes his content. He has to edit it. He has to write scripts. He has to do stuff. He has to create a content calendar where he's planning what he's going to do. He's got to find all the clips that he's going to use to make his different thing. IShowSpeed and just twerks in front of a grocery store, and that gets the same amount of views as PewDiePie's edit that he spent 2 weeks making.
The
right?
actual thought and artwork putting into something, and then IShowSpeed just needs to bark.
Yeah, exactly. He barks on stream.
Like it's
some random girl on Omegle.
It's embarrassing.
It's very embarrassing.
Really is.
But which one makes more money? They make the same because that's the thing. Kids see that and they want to make the easy content. They want to make the clip-worthy content.
It's sad to see. So, and we haven't even mentioned probably one of the worst streamers for humanity being Jack Doherty.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh, yeah.
this kid, and if you look at his life too, he started with YouTube because everyone was doing YouTube, right? That was a huge thing for kids, and he was making cool little videos.
Mm-hmm.
He was working hard. He had a dream to be a huge YouTuber, meet all these people,
making bottle flips.
Yeah, bottle flips. Like that. It was pure. It was cool. It was just a kid wanting to do something, and then he got into this realm and saw, wait a minute, people want the outrageous stuff.
Yeah.
And he just gets the most outrageous people to come on. He's fighting with the Island Boys like all the time.
Yeah.
Saying like he's such a coward where he gets these huge security guards. He'll say outrageous things to people, which you couldn't do in real life. People will try to fight him, but he has these huge 6'4" guys stopping them from hitting them.
Yeah.
So he has literally no ramifications to what he's saying. He's getting guns pulled on him.
Mm-hmm.
It's embarrassing.
It's dude, Jake Paul opened the door for all of it. You remember the Jake Paul vlogs back in the day at Team 10 where they would get the cops called on them pretty much every single video that he made. And that's what opened the door because a lot of these kids saw that and they see outrageous content gets outrageous views.
Yep.
And that's what they ultimately decided is what they wanted to do was get outrageous views. And don't get me wrong, you can get outrageous views by not creating outrageous content. You can create outrageously good content, and that will get the same amount of views. But the problem is, in order to get to the outrageously good content, you need to be outrageously good at making content. And it takes time and it takes work to get there. PewDiePie, the content that he was making 15 years ago was not the same content that ultimately led to him being, at one point, the biggest YouTuber on the planet, right?
Yeah.
He had to work at it. He had to create his edits. He had to, make good videos and stuff like that, collab with good partners and stuff. And that took him a long time.
People don't want to put in the work anymore. Everyone wants the easy fix. Everyone's always wanted the easy route. Doing anything is hard. If you want to be successful, it's hard.
Yeah.
But when you're able to do this outrageous content, you can be famous overnight. You can post one video.
Goes viral.
Yeah, it goes viral, and then you're famous.
Yep.
Everyone knows who you are.
Mm-hmm. That's what Vine did. That's what Vine did.
It started with Vine. Like, even my wife's stepsister's boyfriend.
Wow. That's a connection right there.
Yeah. I connect it all. He went viral at his school for making a short little video. Just like it was just funny. It was Vine-esque.
Yeah.
But everyone in his school knew him as the soup guy.
Yeah.
Somebody that he was a popular dude, but not everyone would know who he is just from one video, one time to his buddies.
Mm-hmm. You and I had a viral video.
We had a semi-viral video. We'll
I think
link it somewhere.
Yeah, we'll put it somewhere.
You can call it viral.
It got half 500,000 views. It's not bad.
Yeah, 69,000 likes was a nice amount of likes.
That was a great amount of likes.
It's so crazy to see where everything's going, and it's painful. Aiden Ross, for me, is someone who, like I said in the beginning of the podcast, I never really watched streamers. I just watched the clips came out. Aiden Ross came on, like when I saw him come onto the scene, he always had these rappers on, right?
Yeah.
And he got big from just making just sus comments, just constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And he was getting picked on by all these guys. At what point, as a human, do you realize, like, I'm degrading myself? Like, these men, these kids are just degrading themselves on a daily basis.
Eventually, they stop making content. I mean, you just stop. You run out of steam. I mean, it happened to Sneeko. I mean, Sneeko just got canceled off the face of the internet, and he can't really make content anymore.
He's back right now.
But not in the same capacity that he was. And I think that's ultimately what's going to happen to some of these other people. The problem is, like, they get shoved off one platform, and then another platform opens up to allow for that content to come back. So Kick coming really opened up a lot of that devious content to come back onto the internet because Twitch didn't allow stuff like that. YouTube obviously didn't allow stuff like that. So a lot of these streamers just switched to Kick, and Kick allows everything.
It's honestly good for Twitch for standing up to have some level of just humanity. Like, okay, wait, this isn't great. This isn't good. We're not going to promote betting and all this other stuff to these young kids because their minds are still developing.
Right.
And it's crazy to see. And so we kind of touched on this a little bit about talking provocatively, and then you mentioned bringing provocative figures on your
Yes.
your stream.
This is the worst thing that could have possibly happened to the internet.
It really is, and it just fits perfectly, unfortunately, to where society is right now.
Mm-hmm.
We've created a multi-billion-dollar. Okay, let me rephrase. With how we over-sexualize everything, we have created a multi-billion-dollar industry being pornography. Right? OnlyFans comes on the scene. Now you have these female influencers who are selling themselves online.
Yep.
To gain more popularity, we saw them jump into YouTube, right? I noticed it when I was watching Logan Paul's vlogs back in the day. They snuck their way on there, and then because they did that, that boosted their popularity,
Mm-hmm.
and because it boosted their popularity, it boosted popularity of pornography as a whole, and then that grows. Then more people branch out into normal society. And now we're seeing these OnlyFans models on streams for multiple hours a day. You're seeing these people, and it's just promoting their fans. I think Sam, the girl who's like dating Neon or whatever the heck you want to call it, she got like after one stream got like $100,000 overnight, just because she was there. And it goes back to why the heck are we continuing to demand?
Well, and the problem is, where does it stop? Right? Because the problem with the internet is that the internet doesn't allow things to slow down. The internet magnifies things and it speeds things up. So when you have one thing, starting with someone has a certain guest on their stream, we'll say, that doesn't stop. You have them back on again. That person continues to get more views. People continue to look at that person. And then they see all the person who's in that specific industry start coming on, and then all of a sudden you have a whole like flood of just another industry coming into the social media presence, and then it just gets overflowed with that, and those things get wild amounts of views because people want to see that clip-worthy content. They want to see that really provocative moment, that really something that like, I can't believe this person brought this person onto their stream.
Well, and so they bring those people on, they bring those OnlyFans models on, right? And we talked about before, when you are watching these streamers, you build like a relationship with them, right? Because they're normal, actual people, and you think like, oh, they're almost like your friends, right? And they have these people on. It's almost like you get to meet them a little bit. They're like, oh, I'm not just seeing a picture. I'm seeing them interact in real life, how they act, how they talk, and it's a huge, huge problem because people don't realize how desensitized we're getting. And we've identified
that's the key point right there. We're getting so desensitized to just absolute provocativeness, where the only content that we're allowing ourselves is just the constant dopamine fix. That's what we were talking about before. Is like, I mean, this all goes back to the part, no content is actually being provided, right? You're just providing people with constant clips, just provocativeness 24/7. And people are getting their fix on that, where everything that they see is provocative. And so the only thing that the only input that you're getting is provocativeness, the only output that you're going to have for the rest of your life is provocativeness, because that's the only thing that you've filled yourself with.
Yeah, it's just disgusting. You're seeing Jack Doherty yell at somebody just to get a response, saying these horrible things, and Neon doing the same thing, and then who's that random guy, that big guy that hangs out with Jack Doherty? I can't remember. Zerka.
Yeah.
My goodness. The dude made his wrap around a bunch of podcasts just saying just outrageous things and being able to just be provocative, be just mean. And we've identified this problem. I don't know how long we've been talking, but we need to talk about how we can solve this, where we get actual healing from. And that goes back to understanding who you are and stop feeding the devil inside you.
Right.
When you have these urges to watch these provocative streams or to go on the internet in a certain spot and do something that you know you're not going to feel good just for that little bit of pleasure, you need to stop and go, you are better than this. Your life means more. and change.
Fulfill yourself with something. I mean, watch fulfilling content. Like, there's so much better content out there that deserves to be watched than these just absolute clowns on the internet, right? There's so many better things that people could do with their time. And the problem is, like, we need to, as society, really talk to ourselves and just realize, question ourselves, what are we watching?
We need a reality check.
Yeah, you need a reality check because these people are not real people, right? This is not real life. When you watch Neon, that is not something that usually happens. That's not real life. When you watch Aiden Ross, what this guy says on his stream is not what normal people say, right? These are not normal things.
Completely fake.
Yes, and they shouldn't be celebrated. They shouldn't be watched. You should watch something much more fulfilling, something that will actually train you into some sort of skill.
Yeah. Just better,
or some sort of thing that you're actually interested in, because no one, like, this is the thing that really gets me, is people watch stuff that pisses them off. You watch stuff that pisses you off all the time, right? And when you see something that pisses you off on the internet, your first reaction is, I hate this, let me tell this guy how much I hate him. And then YouTube or Instagram or Twitch or whatever, they're like, oh, this guy commented on this thing, he must interact with this thing, he likes this thing. And then when they feed themselves, they feed that more of themselves, where they start feeding more and more content. They're watching more and more of the content that they hate. And then they ultimately hate their lives because they're just surrounding themselves with the things that they hate.
People will comment on something and think it actually matters to the creators.
No, it does not.
All it does is add to the algorithm and make them more famous.
Exactly.
And you saying a comment, oh, this has offended me. Okay, cool, that did nothing. You have this emotion that went nowhere from nothing.
Yeah. I'm surprised we haven't really gotten too much hate yet.
On the other channel, I've gotten some funny things, but nothing like crazy. But it's just interesting to see how society is completely changed. Where before we have an altercation, you'd be able to talk.
Keyboard warriors.
Yeah, now you have these keyboard warriors talking on these comments. Blah, 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 you're a horrible person. I hate all this stuff. It's like, okay, it did nothing.
You're dumb. Yeah. You're stupid.
Like, just you're getting mad at a computer and something fake.
People think that the Black Ops 2 lobbies disappeared after Black Ops 2, but they actually just migrated to Instagram comment sections.
They're all still there.
They're actually just Twitter warriors now.
It's so sad to see, and as a human in society, it's painful to watch where we're going.
Yeah.
And I really hope that maybe this, if we make a clip out of this or the podcast, someone's able to watch this podcast this long and they go, wait a minute, these guys aren't completely wrong, and just do a little bit of a reality check.
Yeah.
Just look at, are you happy? Are you happy watching these content? Do you like wasting so much time of your day watching this garbage? How do you feel? Are you okay? Because you're not okay. You're hurting yourself every single day. You are making yourself worse. You are becoming addicted to your phone, watching these stupid streams all day long, and you're becoming a worse human being every single day.
Yeah. Guys, we gotta cut off the podcast relatively soon, but I think that's the perfect message that we're really trying to display here. Be better. Be smarter. If you want to watch good content, you better subscribe to us.
I was waiting to say that so many times.
We're providing the real content. This is the real content that you want to watch, because, we're definitely not releasing your dopamine, because there's nothing exciting that we're doing here, but
we had a delight for the people. Like,
maybe we need someone to do like a backflip off the table or something. Yeah,
but it's this topic is such a controversial topic. People are loving streamers, and we can definitely continue to push this. And I want to continue to touch it in a later podcast. Maybe when we get a guest on, ask them what they think, get another opinion on it.
Yeah, we're gonna push you into watching good content. So subscribe.
We just want all our viewers to be the best they possibly can. Yeah. We're trying to just connect with people and just go, hey, let's think about something differently. If we can get someone to think about their life just a little bit differently, do one reality check, we're succeeding as human beings.
Mm-hmm.
And this is podcast 12. This was fun. Let us know what you think. Are you gonna watch streamers? Are you gonna look at yourself and be like, hey, I want to be better? Figure it out.
Yeah.